Hello and welcome back to another glorious episode of A Tanker's View with me, your average tanker, Tony. And again, at your lovely request, I'm going to give Star Wars the old armored treatment. But before we begin, if I could ask you all to do the YouTube thing, hit that like and subscribe button, leave me a comment down below. It really does help me in the algorithm. Also, a huge heartfelt thank you to everyone who subscribed to me in the last little while. Your support is well received. Thank you again. I promise not to let you down. Star Wars. A franchise I'm really not too hung up on. Take it or leave it. I'm not too keen on space wizards with laser swords, especially when I choose to bask in the one true Emperor's light. Now, I've seen all the good movies and the kind of decentish ones too. What I mean is episodes 1 to 6, the old school Clone Wars, and some of The Mandalorian. Not exactly up to date with every bit of lore from Legends, but I think I've got just enough to give this the old college try. Oh, looking at the outside of this thing, it was designed poorly from the outset, packing missile launchers, a couple of PDF cannons, a heavy blaster. It should be able to tank correctly, but Emperor save me, it sure as hell don't.
You are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of
Tank. During the Battle of Naboo, many of these units were destroyed by mushed-mouthed, floppy-eared, inbred iguanas because the thing was designed so poorly. The drone situation aside, this thing is an absolute travesty from the ground up. So to figure out why, I went on a little journey. So, I visited one of the largest settlements of scum and degeneracy in the Star Wars fandom, known as Wookieepedia. And boy oh boy did I learn about this.
I'm retarded?
So, the Star Wars AAT, or AT, or Armored Assault Tank. It's a hover-type tank used by the C.I.S. C.I.S? CIS! Or Confederation of Independent States. Shit, where do I even begin with this floating dog turd? Well, let's just start on my absolute biggest bitch about this spicy Roomba. Why, in the name of goddamn common effing sense, would an army that uses drones or bots not just make a drone tank? Instead, you do the absolute dumbest, most retarded thing possible. You crew a tank with more drones? This is the tactical equivalent of buying a self-driving Tesla, then making Mr. Data from Star Trek drive it. Seriously, a crew of 4 for this thing? You're telling me in a universe of gold-plated droids that can communicate in more than 2 million ways, a bunch of stupid aliens with intergalactic travel and galaxy-spanning business interests can't figure out the basics of a drone tank? Christ on a cracker. We don't even have space wizards here, and we figured that shit out decades ago. On a slight aside, they say it's got decent armor up front. Here's exactly why that matters less than a single square of 1-ply after Taco Bell and Tequila Tuesday. So let's start with its hoverboard. Okay, I get the allure of hover tanks. Ooh, spacey, futuristic. But guess what? Newton's third law is a real bitch. Doesn't matter whether you're in a galaxy far, far away or not. Hover machines waste a lot of energy. They also generally require flat terrain to operate correctly. Rough terrain with such a wide footprint is going to result in nothing but get this thing hung up unless power is increased, raising it over the obstacles, and therefore raising its silhouette to return fire. Given the utter lack of tactical acumen in the Star Wars galaxy, this really isn't too surprising. Then we get to the fact that they stored all the munitions all through the hover portion of this tank. I guess they don't have to worry about landmines in a galaxy far, far away? Shame, given the behavior of the Jedi and everyone else, you figured they'd be all over war crimes in this galaxy. So, with all the spicy ingredients stored in the floor, this thing should be a fitting candidate for the Russian space program. Adding to this, you put the missile launchers in literally the worst spot possible. Out front, in the open, on the ground. Now, I'm no Oxford scholar, but I'm not an effing idiot either. Guided missiles ride a ballistic path. This is why we fired them from elevated positions, not aimed parallel a foot off the ground. One rock in the wrong place and this drunken boomerang is set to be a shoo-in for a New Year's fireworks display. A bunch of dawdling grannies playing bocce ball with hand grenades could score a crippling hit on this thing. Seriously, this is an idea so dumb even the Chinese army won't copy it. This continues to be the top armored equivalent of a 2-story outhouse. Nothing but a cavalcade of shit from top to bottom. I could really go on all day here, but I won't. Keeping on moving up, we have the central war hull of this short banana bus. Yeah, it's narrow and thickly armored up front, but the change is so abrupt that it eliminates the barrel depression, ruining any chances of engaging this thing from a hull down position. And then there's the poor placement of the point defense cannons. Honestly, you put the rest of your explodey bits down below, why not just put your C.I.S turret there too on top of the hoverboard? It should reduce the overall silhouette of this tank. So, now how would I fix this Bananarama hammock? Well, let's look at it two ways, hovering and not. And here's my whiteboard again with my art. I'd move the missile launchers to behind the turret, angle and slope the front armor deeper, put the C.I.S turrets on top of the primary hull to provide top-down 360-degree full-spectrum coverage, and make it a single drone. No need to waste 4 additional combat units to drive something that can be done with a rudimentary AI. And if I wanted to do this properly, I'd put it on tracks. So, you know, friction and everything can reduce the power usage and maybe make this thing fire faster. Anyway, I'm sure I've crapped all enough over Star Wars this video. If you've made it this far, you are an absolute legend. And if you enjoy this content and want to see my average tanker's viewpoint on other sci-fi and real-world tanks and armored vehicles, tap that like and sub button again, and leave me a comment down below. I'm also working on uploading this content to other platforms. It's just slow going, as it is literally just me and only me, and I work a full-time job on top of this and do this on the side. So I really don't have much time for social media anymore, except for the occasional shit post on my personal Twitter account. But I am on Odyssey now, and Rumble is coming soon. But with that out of the way, guys, I will see you guys and gals next time.